Welcome to another edition of the Wonderberry Podcast.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Dave.
And you can find us online at wonderberry.com/2024.
You can find me online at Open Darkwing, either the .com, the YouTubes, the everything.
And you can find me at briankeesbury.com, where you've got the fresh new face of 2024 launched as of yesterday, which will be... Actually, by the time you get to listen to this, it'll be like 4 days ago. Sorry about your luck, losers. you and your 4 days behind.
Welcome to 2024.
Look at you in your poor ass time travel.
My friend, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I think this is the first voice conversation we've had in 2024. No, it's not. We talked when I was running around doing errands.
Yeah, I was driving around doing some dashing. I dashed for 4 hours and made $23. And it's like, fuck this, I'm going home.
Yep, that's the problem. Like, you can have days and times where it's really, really good, and you're like, all right, this is awesome. And then there are days, like, there were a couple of weekends when I was driving Uber where I ended up spending more money in gas than I made for an entire weekend.
And I was
like,
that day was the only day where I'd had that day. Every other day I'd made like $150. And then I had the other day, and I was like, that's why I was like, what's everybody up to? I'm like, somebody give me a reason to quit this fucking day. Like, every tip has been between a $0 and a $1. And I'm just ready to be fucking done. Like, somebody give me a reason to hit end this dash. Like, please give me a goddamn reason. Just somebody say, hey, I'm sitting at home doing nothing.
Yep.
Everybody was out doing shit, and I just kept at it. And I was like, oh, God, 4 hours, and I made 23, 25. I was like, fuck. And then I just called it quits anyways.
Oh, how was your holiday?
Bleh.
How was the New Year?
Bleh. The boy was sick.
Oh, that always sucks.
Yeah. He got the pneumonia and ended up in the ER, so...
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's never a good thing.
Nope.
Well, I know we started this whole thing years ago as a technology-centric, and we've kind of moved... I mean, we bring it up every once in a while, but mostly in the Fediverse, but I'd like to go a different direction with technology today and stay away from our arguing about the Fediverse for a minute.
Somebody asked me what it was the other day, and I said, we have a dad pod.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I'm too fat for the dad bod, but I have a dad pod, so.
Yeah. I said, are you into dad pods? Because that's what I got.
But over the holidays, T-Mobile was having a great sale. Plus, I had an extra little savings from them, so it didn't cost me much more than doing the jump program from my Pixel 7 Pro to the Pixel 8 Pro, which is what I was planning on doing. And with all the discounts, it was like less than $100 more to upgrade to the Pixel Fold.
Ooh.
So I now have a folding phone. I've had it for, a little over a week now, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the initial impressions are surprisingly positive. I can understand why some people would have issues with this phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that it's 100% perfect. I know that it's a first-gen Pixel device, which, if you know anything about Google's history with making phones, their first gens are usually a decent test bed. The software issues that a lot of people complained about got fixed in Android 14, so that's not a big issue. But I don't notice any other, like, the issues that I have with it on a hardware standpoint and software standpoint, the same issues I'd have with the Pixel devices anyway. And it takes a little bit of time for tactilely for the kind of the crease in the middle, but that's going to come with any folding device. Any folding device that tries to say there's no crease are lying to you, and you should take that into consideration.
Yeah.
But overall, the form factor, so like, if you know anything about folding phones, now that OnePlus released the OnePlus Open in the US, and I haven't played with that one at all, but there were two standard form factors once the Fold was released. There's the tall, long, skinny candy bar that Samsung does, and then there's more of a passport style that the Pixel Fold has. And I've always been a case guy. So I had a pretty hefty, a pretty decent case on my 7 Pro. And when the Fold is folded up, it's not much thicker than my 7 Pro. It's not any wider than my 7 Pro was, but it is shorter. So that everyone's saying they want a little bit shorter and smaller of a Pixel device, top to bottom wise, this is it. Like, this is the perfect form factor for the front screen side, which I find that I use like a regular phone quite a bit. And I think this is the big difference in the design choices that Google did versus what Samsung did.
Yeah.
Samsung designed a tablet and made it fold and put a screen on the front. Google designed a screen on the front that opened up to a tablet. And the usability is strikingly different on how you use it. So, like, a lot of people, and any time that I've used the Samsung Folds, I have found myself always opening it up and using it in the tablet format first, because that tall, skinny screen just wasn't as pleasing to use coming from a regular phone.
Yeah.
This one, I find that I use about 80% of the time the front screen, and then when I want to use a tablet, I can just open it up and it's there. And it's kind of an interesting, people talk about the differences between the two, and I think that's the biggest one is that from a design and usability standpoint, they came at it from two totally different directions, which makes head-to-head comparisons really difficult to think about.
Apples and oranges.
Yeah, well, it's like, I think which phone is it? ROG that has the high-end gaming phone with all the high, like the insane specs for mobile gaming.
Yeah.
It's like trying to compare that to, like, say, the Pixel 6a. It's very difficult, even though they're the same form factor, it's very difficult to compare them because they are designed for completely different things in mind. And so a one-to-one comparison isn't necessarily going to do either of them justice because of how different they are from each other.
Yeah.
And that's by design, not because one's worse or one's better. By design, they're insanely different from each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're running into. Like I said, I have not had the opportunity to do anything with the OnePlus Open because no carriers carry it. They didn't sell it out to carriers. You have to buy it directly from OnePlus. And I'm not made of money. I only have this thing because I have the Jump program and I pay monthly for it. And it was only the difference of $5 a month more to get the Fold over the 8 Pro.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm going to go with the Fold because I'm struggling still charging my 2013 Nexus 7.
Yeah.
I can't update it because the USB module is completely gone on it, so I can only do wireless charging. And it's slow. I can't, I don't have access to being able to side load or reflash it and all that fun stuff anymore. But having the tablet back is amazingly awesome. One of the cool things you can do if you want with the tablet, because not all mobile apps are adopted that way. But the way the use case that I found I'm using it is having apps side by side. So
Yeah.
like I have my photos or I have something open on one half of it, and on the other half I have email or whatever, and I can click and drag like pictures and text and all that stuff across from one app to another seamlessly.
That's something I had wondered about, because I've had a few different people tell me I need to be streaming like while I'm out doing the DoorDash.
Yeah.
And I was kind of just like, yeah, oh, yeah, oh.
That gets a couple steps more complicated. But
Yeah, and I was like, well, yeah, oh, okay, yeah, okay. Well, here's what I got to do then. Is I got to do, I guess I could. What I need is I need to have, like, it'd be best to have two apps side by side, like that would be the best case,
Yeah. Yeah. The other nice thing, if I open it up, I can switch off the main screen and flip it over, so I can use the back cameras as a selfie camera if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And that's really nice. Everyone talks about the bezels on this thing, and while they are there and somewhat noticeable, it's also not terrible, because you don't have the pinhole camera cut out, and when you're holding it, the overlap of your hand is on slight bezels and not on the screen itself. And I found myself not having to balance it in my hand like, say, like the Nexus 7 I used to, sort of.
Yeah.
I can hold it from the side with my thumb over the top and not mess up any real estate of the internal screen.
Oh.
A couple of the weird things, like I don't notice, like visually, I don't notice the crease unless it's in direct sunlight and I kind of catch the light just right, then I can see it. You can kind of feel it because the phone doesn't open completely flat. It's, I think, 178 degrees instead of 180.
Yeah.
So when you're going across it, you kind of feel like the little divot in there, but it's not terrible, and it folds completely flush, so you don't have like a little triangle gap. So it's a couple of those give and takes. If you're not used to it or you're not expecting it and you're expecting it to feel like across an iPad, it's not going to. And so, I've noticed a lot of complaints about that. It's like, well, yeah, but that's any foldable is going to have that. And sure, it might be a knock against foldables, and that's fair. But that's one of those things where, it's a knock against foldables. I'm not going to compare it to, well, you can come up with anything arbitrary on any mobile device and, knock a mobile device for something that every mobile device has as a knock on it. And it's there's no full USB to plug in a keyboard on a mobile device. Well, that's all mobile devices. Why would you knock it for that? I guess is kind of, you know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those things. I get the nitpick, but at the same time, when it's all of them, I get it. And it might be more noticeable or less more noticeable than other devices in the same space, but overall, I'm insanely happy with it. Battery life has gotten as good or better than my 7 Pro was. One complaint I've heard a lot is that it gets unusually hot. And I have a $12 case on this thing, and I have not noticed it getting unusually hot even under heavy load. Like, no more warm than my 7 Pro. And I'm comparing everything to my Pixel 7 Pro because it's got the same processor, the same back cameras pretty much. I think it's actually the same cameras as the 7, not the 7 Pro. So it's, is it worth the full 1800? I wouldn't have done it for a full 1800. But am I, well, I don't know. Because I'm trying to decide, as I'm using it and the more I use it, would I ever go back to a regular phone? And I think the answer would probably is at this point, no.
I'm gonna
I
just
really
wait.
like it.
I'm just gonna wait until they're like, $300-400, and then, go from there.
Yeah. Well, with the jump program, I don't, it.
Yeah, you get them. You get them for that already. So
And financing them through T-Mobile allows me. There's no interest, so I don't pay an interest rate. I pay just monthly until it's half paid off. Then I can trade it in for a newer one. But that also skips. I don't have to go through device manufacturers for RMAs or issues. I deal with T-Mobile.
Yeah.
And I pay the extra little bit, the protection 360, I think is what they call it. So if I crack a screen inside or outside of it, I pay like $50 and I get it replaced.
Yeah.
If I have hardware issues, I take it to T-Mobile and they give me a new one and they deal with manufacturer for RMA. So while there are benefits of buying it and bringing it to a carrier, the benefits for me, and yes, I pay, I think it's $30 a month for the protection, but it's worth it to me because the one time, if it happens once, it's paid for itself in spades. And it's the nice little layer of well-being and feeling.
Yeah.
But overall, I've really fallen in love with the form factor. And next time you're up here or down here, I think you would like the way it feels in hand as well. And that front screen, there's just that passport style, a little bit shorter. It's the front screen is like 17.5 by 9. So it's not that much different than a phone. It reminds me of holding like the old Nexus 5 or the 5X is what it kind of reminds me of. I haven't laid up my old 5X against it to see how it is screen wise, but
Nice.
It's that shorter, slightly smaller, and I really like it. But yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. So 2024 is here.
2024 is here. I did not get myself a new phone. I've been working on getting myself some other different things.
Yep.
New pots and pans and such.
Those are always good.
Yeah, I've been expanding my large cast iron collection. So
nice.
I don't have a place to put everything. So I ordered a I ordered a special like pipe to hang from the ceiling. And then I've got a really nice cedar board out in my shop. So I was cleaning the cedar board up. So I'm going to put the cedar board up on the ceiling. I'm going to bolt that into the joists in the ceiling, and then screw this pipe, this like industrial looking black pipe, into the board. And then I got some hangers that hang from the pipe that I'm going to hang all my cast iron pans on, and then that'll like separate the kitchen from the wood stove a little bit. It'll hang, where the wood stove is at the edge of the kitchen. And yeah, all my cast iron pans will hang there and kind of be quick access in between the two things. And I've been working on expanding that collection out, and what'd I count the other day? 12, 13 pans?
Nice.
Yeah. So I've started dipping into like the Lodge baking collection. So I got the cookie sheet like right before Christmas because I realized I didn't have a cookie sheet. And my mom got me the pizza pan. And then I picked up the loaf pan because I didn't like the loaf pan I had was specifically for bread. It's a stone pan, like a stone loaf pan.
Yep.
And so I was sitting down and I was like reading about it, and it was like, do not do greasy things in this. Like, you grease it to season it, but you don't cook greasy things in it. And I was like, well, that is counterintuitive. Thanks for the instructions. Like, okay. And it was like, well, if you cook greasy things in it, like, it absorbs that grease and then it'll put that greasy flavor into the bread. I was like, okay, that seems legit. Like, I don't want bread tasting like meat, So, okay. So, it's like, okay, so I need a loaf pan for making meatloaf. Cool. So I went and I got a Lodge cast iron meatloaf pan. So, I got a meatloaf pan, I've got a pizza pan, I got a cookie sheet, I've got a whole selection of skillets from like 6 inches all the way up to, I think, 13 inches. Like literally every size there is. 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. I've got the wok, Dutch oven, braising pan. I've got a saucepan. What else? I don't remember. So I'm going to get that pipe hung up, see what'll hang on the pipe, and that's my plan for
Nice.
this week, is kind of get that stuff organized, because right now it's just kind of all sitting around and looking awkward, and yeah. Been kind of
Sweet.
reorganizing kitchen stuff and then upgrading all that stuff and ditching a lot of other junk. And I have like 2 non-cast iron pans, and that's all I got.
Nice.
Yeah. And I have like 2 wish list non-cast iron pans, and one of them is a carbon steel wok because the cast iron wok is god awful heavy and I can only use it like on the burner or on the wood stove, and I need something where I can use like quick. So I picked out a like special carbon steel wok with a wood lid that I want to use for like quick toss things. And I need another stainless pot for doing pasta in, because the one I have is more of a steamer, and it's a pain in the ass for doing pasta. So
That works.
Or I get really fancy and go get myself a really nice copper one. I haven't quite decided yet. Should I go full copper? Should I like really fucking fancy boy it and get full copper for just my pasta pot?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I know we switched for our anniversary this last year. We switched everything to stainless. And I've loved my stainless stuff so far.
Yeah. Stainless is really good.
I was very, very happy with the stainless.
It's a good step up from Teflon.
Yeah, Teflon is definitely like it's good for what it's for,
Yeah.
but it's kind of that I don't want to call it entry level because that's not right, but it's kind of entry level into it.
It really is. It's kind of foolproof, but it's also not because a lot of people don't know to preheat it. But that's like all pans. Like all pans should be preheated, you know?
Well, yeah, like Teflon should be preheated, stainless should be preheated, copper should be like I don't know, all pans
Don't
should be preheated.
Yeah. Well, no. Enameled cast iron shouldn't.
Who
That's
uses
the only
enameled cast iron?
I do. I have some.
Oh.
Yeah. I have
I
my
know. I'm
Dutch
just
my saucepans.
messing with you.
Because you can't put acidic things in like regular cast iron. So
Well, you could. You just only do that like once.
yeah.
It's not something that's going to be repeatable over and over and over.
Yeah. Not a repetitive process.
Yeah. So, a couple of housekeeping questions for all of you out there that listen, that tune in every once in a while.
All three of you.
We have a couple of questions for you guys, and you can reach out either in. Are there comments any of the platforms on these things?
Yeah.
Do you? I keep a half eye. Well, I will more now once I relog in because I switched phones, so I realize I haven't logged into everything yet.
If you moderate
But-
the YouTube, I'll moderate nothing.
Is there comments outside of the YouTube? Because that's the only thing I really pay attention to.
Yeah, there's comments available on the website, blog site.
Okay.
And I don't know if you can comment like on any of the other platforms. I don't know how like the iTunes or the Spotify or any of those
we should
work.
probably figure that out. But
Yeah, I imagine it might
this'll-
email us if we do get stuff because I don't like really go and check any of those things.
So over the last 6 months, we've kind of played around with different ideas in our recording. We've done kind of like today where we just have one or two things that we talk about and we just kind of wander all over the place. You know, we started by talking about a Pixel Fold. Now we were just talking about pans. And then we've had episodes where we've kept more of a singular, broad, but singular topic for an overall. What do you guys prefer in that? Do you guys like the ramblings of two dads, or do you like the less rambly and more toward a direction?
I like the direction because we still ramble in them and get our stories in, but
I prefer that as well, but I just kind of wanted to know what you guys thought. That and time. Do you guys like 30 minutes? Do you guys like 40 minutes? Do you guys not care and we just go until we feel like we're done? I'm just kind of curious of what you guys think and how you guys enjoy it. I know I've got personal preferences when it comes to podcasts I listen to and content I consume. I know where my mind starts to kind of go off the rails a little bit when listening to something and I have to put it down and come back or whatever. And I know everyone's a little different, but I'm kind of curious because if you're listening to it and you've been listening to us for a while, your feedback's really important. And you can reach out in the comments. If you have us on Discord, you can reach out there. If you have us on Telegram, you can reach us out on there. There's multiple ways And I'm at Open Darkwing everywhere, so I'm not that hard to find.
Yeah, I pretty much burnt down all my social media, so good luck.
Yeah, just I'm there. Just at Open Darkwing, let us know. Because
Yeah.
I'm really curious to kind of hear some feedback from you guys about this kind of stuff. Especially as we start in a new year and just try to kind of focus in. Both of us are ramping up other content creation stuff. I'm in the process of dedicating an entire channel to Minecraft content. There'll be the gardening stuff that's going to be coming out later this year as well, and my Open Darkwing YouTube is going to be a lot more creative projects that I'm kind of working on. There will still be some flight sim stuff but more from a creative, using gaming or other things as a medium for more creative outlets. I've got another idea that I came up with, or that I was influenced by, but have another idea for another short horror film that I'm working on. And so that stuff will go to my main, that'll be a creative outlet channel. And so, yeah, it's 2024 is going to be interesting. It's going to be, and there's going to be a lot more that I'll have to say on here about productivity. And one of the big things that I'm going to nail down is I'm going to be learning Notion this year. Because let me backpedal a half step. I've narrowed it down to 2 productivity apps that I'm going to be focusing on for personal and also for my own stuff. That's either going to be Notion or Microsoft Loop. And the reason why I'm even thinking about going Microsoft Loop is because I use a lot of stuff out of my Microsoft 365 or 360 or whatever it's called, my Microsoft account. I use that constantly. And them adding in a system like that, I kind of want to really learn and see if it's as good or if it's usable in my use case, or if it's going to kind of go the direction of Teams and not be as useful. But yeah, I'll be talking about that more this year as well.
Yeah. I've been using a lot more AI tools. And
that's definitely something I want to get into, is more AI tools for stuff.
Yeah.
There's some really good AI tools that can make your life so much easier. And there's a lot of stuff that's getting baked in with AI tools. Like, I know Resolve has been really leaning into AI for things like closed captions generation, all that stuff that is so well done.
Yep. I've just been kind of leaning into it hard, everything I do. And then there's times where I'm like, I'm struggling with trying to figure out what I need to do here and what I need, like, I'm struggling with, like, getting this done, and what do I need to do? And I need to, like,
Yep.
And then somebody will be like, oh yeah, use AI, and I'm like, duh.
Yep.
Oh, why didn't I freaking think about that?
Yeah, I think AI has gone, people have gone and looking at AI from being a replacement for a lot of stuff and more into how can this help augment what I'm currently doing? And I think that once people realize that switch can be made, it got a lot better.
Yeah.
I think especially on the developer standpoint, we went from trying to replace people in tasks to how do we use this to help everyone else? And that's when it got good.
Yeah. And that's what I have a couple of different AI things I use. Like every single one of our episode images is AI generated, and it helps me out. Like they're not the same. You guys get to look at a different image every episode, and all I do is like I have an AI image generator, and I dump the description, and Dave writes the description for every episode, and then I just dump that into the AI image thing, and then it spits me back an image, and then I put that in the I put that in. So
Yep.
yeah.
The last couple episodes, I haven't been doing such a good job of doing that. I need to make sure I do that immediately.
We forget. We've been busy with fucking. We've kind of been busy, Dave. Holidays.
Yes, we have. Holidays is always that weird time.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a little short of an episode today, but yeah, give us some feedback. Let us know what's kind of going on. And I know both of us are really excited about the content that we have planned and we have in our heads, and we're trying to get pushed forward through this next year.
Yeah.
My biggest focus this year, I don't usually do New Year's resolutions, but I have like focuses that I like to try. And my biggest focus this year is to really work on my time management, especially when it comes to my creative projects. I really want to just lean into time management much better.
Yeah. That's what I've been working on, is trying to like
and finding tools to help me do that.
Yeah. That's why I'm leaning so hard on the fucking AI stuff.
Oh, I have a quick question for you, Brian.
Okay.
If you were to close your eyes and think of an apple, what do you think of? Do you see an apple in your mind?
Well, we did this when you were up for my birthday. And you and James were doing this. You ever seen a like Picasso painting?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I see like a whole fruit salad kind of thing, and everything's kind of jarbly. And
so I don't see anything.
Yeah, my brain's a mess, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see anything. I don't have any image style memories of anything.
Yeah.
When I close my eyes, I think of stuff. I think of emotions. I think of smells. I can piece together from like, I have like a list of descriptors of what happened, but I have no image memories of anything.
Yeah.
And I found out that's called aphasia, and it affects, and it's hereditary. I've already passed on to one of my spawn.
Oh wow.
Thankfully my youngest got the same thing that my wife has, which like when they think of an apple, they can visually picture an apple and they can move it in their mind to see all sides of it and be able to kind of manipulate it in their mind. And that kind of blew me away when I found out people actually did that. And so I was doing a lot more research on it. But yeah, going through, and this explains why when like I was trying to figure out why, because I'm a very creative person and I love creating stuff and I'm fairly good at it. But when it came to getting a pen and piece of paper and trying to draw something for my design class or whatever, I struggled. And I found out that I struggle because I can't see anything in my mind to visually put to paper. And that's when I realized that my artistry side is much more suited in editing or being able to manipulate something around. Because I can change things and go, that looks, because I understand what looks good and what doesn't. I have all that. It's the creating something from nothing doesn't work because there's nothing in my head to even start from.
Yeah, right.
And it's really
That's
interesting to figure and to navigate that pathway.
yeah. That is. I mean, even
Because I've got
as
basic shapes, but I know I could start drawing if I kind of went the whole basic shapes route, but even then sometimes it's just really difficult for me.
even as somebody that's as like ultra creative as I am, like visualizing things is a fucking struggle. They've like all over the
Well,
place.
you've had neurological issues that contribute to that. I was born
Yeah.
this way. And that's kind of the
Yeah. Well,
like
even before that, like trying to just like knowing what I want to do and then like trying to figure out like oh, this is what I want, this is where I'm at, like having a plan, like thinking of a plan and then trying to visualize that plan afterwards and like okay, let's go this direction, like seeing an end goal, but then like okay, how do we get to that end goal?
yeah. So this is where and this is kind of I'm thinking back over this last year of doing the school stuff, right?
Yeah.
And my professor, my Photoshop professor, really let us lean in on AI image generation. He said, I don't want you to do everything AI, obviously, but in places where you were going to use something stock photo-y, use AI. And I found that I ended up working brilliantly with that to the point, and I'll upload it somewhere. One of our projects was we needed to create a poster of a disaster by using stock images or AI. And being able to put that poster together using AI and doing AI generation, where I type in the descriptors that are in my head of what I want to have on screen, and allowing AI to take someone with my mind and create an image from that, it was such a godsend. And I've used that for a lot of things. Like I'll have, if I want to design a logo, I'll just go over to like Adobe Firefly, which you have to have a paid subscription for Adobe or whatever for that. But I'll go over to Adobe Firefly and I'll type in what the descriptors that I think in my head for it and let it come out with something. And then I can run to the races because I can manipulate the shit. Now that I have something that I'm physically seeing, I know how to manipulate that. If I don't have something that I physically see, I can't put an image there to manipulate myself, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yep.
And so AI for image generation, for someone like me who knows I'm very creative and wants to remain creative, has been such a godsend. And it's been amazing to be able to put stuff that's in my head the way it's in my head and be able to translate that out um to images that I can work with. And I am insanely proud of some of the work that I did from that. It was I'm very, very happy that I was able to pull that off.
That's good.
Because some of that stuff was just otherwise it would have absolutely killed me. And I'll put this up. I don't know where I'll put it up. Maybe I'll put it up on my Instagram.
Yeah.
I'll upload it to my Instagram account. If you want to come check out my Instagram, I've got some photo stuff up there. I need to edit some more photos and start putting photos up. I eventually I'd like to get to the point where I'm uploading a picture a day, but I think I'm going to try to keep a picture a week for a while, and then it might go up from there. But yeah, I just thought, if that's you out there and you have the same thing that I've kind of got going on, it's not the end of the world. You can absolutely do stuff, and it's there.
Anybody can do anything once they put their mind to it and get it.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just finding the tool to help you navigate. There's no way I would have come up with this poster if I didn't have a tool that I could use the way my mind worked to input text in and run it through.
Yeah.
So just, if you're out there and you're running into issues, don't give up, because tools can help you. And don't be afraid to lean into something like AI, because while each of the individual components of this poster that I made, and like I said, it's kind of a weird jump to go visual on an audio thing like that. it's definitely, if it wasn't for it's still my art, even though every single component of it wasn't created by me. I feel like every component was created by my mind, because I had to describe what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. The artwork was done by AI. The visualization of what I wanted the artwork to be was done by me, which I firmly believe that makes me the artist of it. Because and the manipulation, like for this poster, there are, I think, 15 different prompts that I gave, or gave prompts 15 times, and then I assembled and layered and put together and refined and colored and all that stuff, all of it, so it would match.
That's how I feel with the AI stuff that I do. Is like I do so much editing to it. Like I put stuff into it, and then I do so much work to change it.
Yep.
And make it like into my own thing.
Well, it's to me, utilizing another tool to help you do something, I don't think that it would be fair, and we do it to artists, especially at the dawn of AI, of, well, that's not really art, you're just, the computer's doing it all for you.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like going after director for the editing, or telling Steven Spielberg, well, you had John Williams as a score and that gave all the emotion, so you didn't really direct any emotion in your movie. And that's just not true. And so I look at it the same way, is that you have tools, if you use a paintbrush, are you not really true to the art because you're not using your finger like they used to?
Yeah.
If you use a stylus and a pen and Photoshop, are you not a true artist because you don't know how to paint? And so you start going into these levels, and it's like, okay, why are we gatekeeping creativity? I can't close my eyes and see an image. Does that mean I can never create something artful? No, because I've got, like I said, I'll upload it today on my Instagram, and you'll see a poster. I would not say that I did not create that, because every small element of that is done by AI. That doesn't make me any less of an artist to put that together, I don't think. And so, if you're out there and you're struggling with that, just be a little bit more open on using tools.
Yeah.
Just because you use Photoshop does not make you not an artist, because you're not actually painting on canvas. Because you use canvas, doesn't mean you're not art, because you're not painting on papyrus. I mean, come on now.
Right?
Push it back. Are you smudging soot on a cave wall? Well, if you're doing anything more modern than that, are you not an artist because that's what they did? No, you're using the tools that are available to you that you use for you. And I am done. There's my tangent for the week. I have one weekly tangent all the time, and there's my weekly tangent.
Pleb.
Damn it! I wanted to end this thing 20 minutes ago.
Poser. Goddamn poser.
Oh man. All right, Brian.
All right.
I will we'll see you guys all next week.
See you in the comments. Posers not using charcoal on cave walls for your art.